You grew up watching wrestling, convinced it was the coolest thing ever. The Rock? Untouchable. The Undertaker? Supernatural. Shawn Michaels? A human highlight reel. And in those moments, you thought, I want to do that. But they didn't show you the broken bones, endless travel, stalker fans, garbage pay, shattered dreams, and the careers that never take off. Welcome to the real world of professional wrestling. It sucks. Every wrestling legend has said it at some point. You gotta pay your dues. But what does that actually mean? It means your first match won't be in a sold-out arena. No fireworks, no screaming fans, no legendary entrance music. Instead, you'll be wrestling in a dimly lit VFW hall in front of 20 disinterested people, half of whom are there because they know someone on the card. The other half, just killing time before the bar opens. And the pay. Hope you like snacks. Promoters are known for handing out crumpled $20 bills and a handshake. Some, even more generous. They'll throw in a hot dog and a bottle of water. Yes, a literal hot dog. Congratulations. You just risked brain trauma for a gas station meal. But the worst isn't the pay, it's the conditions. You're not wrestling in state-of-the-art venues. You're wrestling in parking lots, next to dumpsters, in bars where the crowd is too drunk to care. You'll drive hundreds of miles to make $50, sleep in your car in a Walmart parking lot, wake up sore as hell, and do it all over again. You tell yourself it's all part of the journey. You're grinding. You're paying your dues. One day, you'll make it, right?
No!
Every wrestler hates hearing the same question.
Isn't wrestling fake?
No, wrestling is predetermined. But the pain, the injuries, the suffering, all very, very real. Every time a wrestler hits the mat, it's like being in a car crash at 30 miles per hour, except they do it dozens of times per match, night after night, year after year. The ring might look like a trampoline on TV, but that's just an illusion. Beneath the canvas, wooden planks and steel beams. A thin layer of padding is the only thing standing between a wrestler's back and a spinal injury waiting to happen. And then there are the ropes. Thick steel cables wrapped in tape. Wrestlers aren't just bouncing off them like a soft elastic band. They're whipping into them full speed. After a few years in the business, a wrestler's back isn't just sore. It's branded with rope burns, deep bruises, and permanent welts. You can always tell a veteran wrestler by the way they struggle to get out of bed in the morning. Because the truth is, once you start wrestling, your body is never the same again. A football player takes a hard hit. He has a week to recover before the next game. An MMA fighter gets knocked out. He gets months off to heal. A wrestler, you're expected to perform again the next night. There's no off-season, no breaks, no rest, no time to recover. There's no sick leave. Got the flu? Fever? Food poisoning? Tough luck. You wrestle anyway. Injured? Too bad. Wrap it up, pop some painkillers, and get in the ring. Got a concussion? Hope you remember the match because it's not stopping. And because wrestlers are expected to keep going no matter what, they self-medicate. Painkillers, cortisone shots, muscle relaxers, anything to numb the agony and keep moving. That's why so many wrestlers, even in their prime, become dependent on painkillers. They're not taking them for fun. They're taking them because they literally cannot function without them. That's also why so many die young. But what happens when a wrestler finally can't wrestle anymore? There's no union, no pension, no guaranteed paycheck. In wrestling, you're not an employee. You're an independent contractor. Meaning, no health insurance, no benefits, no protection if you get hurt. Break your leg, you're paying for it. Need surgery? Better hope your GoFundMe does well. And yes, that's a real thing. Wrestlers, once famous, now forgotten, begging fans for money because they spent years destroying their bodies for entertainment and now can't afford basic medical care. Many wrestlers, guys who main evented TV shows, wrestled in front of thousands, retire with nothing. No savings, no retirement plan, no safety net. And yet, new wrestlers keep coming in, chasing the dream. Because that's what wrestling does. It gives you just enough hope to keep going, even when your body is screaming at you to stop. Casual fans think wrestlers only work a few nights a week. They assume that after a match, a wrestler goes home, kicks back, and enjoys a comfortable life. But in reality, wrestling is a 24/7 grind. Even when you're not in the ring, you're working. You wake up in a cheap hotel room, Still sore from last night's match? Your neck is stiff, your lower back feels like it belongs to an 80-year-old, and your knees creak like a rusted door hinge. But there's no time to rest. First stop, the gym. Every single day. Because if you don't look like a superstar, you won't get booked. It doesn't matter if your body is breaking down. Wrestlers don't get the luxury of looking like regular athletes. You're expected to have superhero physiques, even if it means pushing through pain, injuries, and exhaustion. After the gym, you're back on the road. Maybe you're flying to another city for your next match, or maybe you're driving 6 hours to a small town venue that barely covers gas money. Most wrestlers aren't traveling in luxury buses or first-class flights. They're crammed into rental cars, surviving on gas station snacks and energy drinks just to make it to the next payday. But wrestling isn't just about performing, it's about selling yourself. You spend hours filming and cutting promos, making sure your character stays relevant. You edit highlight reels and clips, trying to keep your name alive on social media. You hustle for bookings, sending emails to promoters, messaging other wrestlers, networking, hoping someone will take notice. And after all that, you still might not get paid. Let's say you beat the odds. You grind for years, survive the brutal independent circuit, and finally make it to the WWE. Now you're set for life, right? Wrong. Only the top guys, the Roman Reigns, the John Cenas, the Rocks, make millions. Everyone else, they're just getting by. The lower tier WWE wrestler might make $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Sounds decent until you start subtracting expenses. Travel? That's on you. Flights, hotels, rental cars. WWE's not covering any of it. If you want to wrestle, you better be ready to spend. Food? Try eating healthy when you're on the road 300 days a year. Most wrestlers survive on protein bars, fast food, and whatever they can grab at a gas station. Medical bills? No insurance, no benefits. If you get hurt, you're paying for it out of your pocket. And in wrestling, getting hurt isn't an if, it's a when. Gear? Those custom boots, trunks, and entrance jackets, all paid for by the wrestler. A good set easily costs thousands. And if you want to stand out, you can't have just one. By the time everything is said and done, you're barely saving anything. And here's the worst part. You can get fired at any time. One day you're living the dream, the next you wake up to an email saying WWE has released you. No severance package, no unemployment benefits, just gone. So what do? If you're lucky, you go back to the independent circuit, working smaller shows for smaller paychecks, trying to rebuild your reputation. If you're not, you get a regular job. Plenty of former WWE wrestlers have quietly disappeared, taking jobs in retail, construction, or driving for Uber. Because once wrestling is over, there's no exit plan. And yet, despite all of this, new wrestlers just keep chasing the dream. Because for those few moments in the ring, when the crowd is screaming your name, it feels like it's all worth it. At least until the next morning, when you wake up broke, exhausted, and ready to do it all over again. But let's say you've fought through the grind. You've taken the bumps, endured the injuries, slept in your car, and survived on gas station meals. You've finally made a name for yourself. You're on TV now. You've got merchandise, an action figure, maybe even a decent paycheck. People chant your name, kids dress up as you for Halloween. But here's the trade-off. Say goodbye to your personal life. You wrestle 4 to 5 nights a week, sometimes in different countries on back-to-back nights. You spend more time in airports, rental cars, and hotel rooms than in your own home. Your schedule isn't just demanding, it's relentless. Holidays? Missed. Birthdays? Missed. Anniversaries? What are those? Your kid's first steps? Saw it in a blurry FaceTime call at 3 a.m. You start to lose track of time. One day you wake up in a hotel, genuinely unsure what city you're in. Relationships? Good luck. If you're single, forget about dating. If you're married, your spouse is a saint. Because maintaining a marriage when you're gone 300 plus days a year is near impossible. That's why many wrestlers end up divorced, isolated, or completely burned out. And even when you do get a rare day off, you're still not truly off the clock. Because privacy? Yeah, that's gone too. Some fans are cool, others, creepy. Imagine that you've just finished a brutal 30-minute match. Your body is aching, you're running on fumes, and all you want is food and 5 minutes of peace. So you stop at a McDonald's at 1 a.m., exhausted and drenched in sweat. Before you can even take a bite, some guy shoves 50 action figures in your face, demanding autographs. Say yes? Congratulations, you just helped him make hundreds of dollars on eBay. Say no? Boom, you're trending as a hashtag rude wrestler. And it doesn't stop there. Fans show up at your hotel. Fans follow you through airports. Fans stake out outside gyms waiting for a photo. Fans dig through your trash. Yeah, it's happened. And some fans, they take it further. There have been stalkers, actual dangerous stalkers. A female WWE star woke up to a stalker breaking into her home, carrying a knife. Another wrestler found a fan waiting in his car, in his own garage. Some wrestlers receive death threats from fans who get too obsessed. And if that wasn't enough, every moment of your life is under a microscope. You post a picture of your dinner? Wow, you can afford steak but complain about WWE pay? You wear a new jacket? Oh, must be nice to be rich while I struggle. You say one wrong thing? Canceled. Career over. No matter what you do, someone will be mad. At some point, you start avoiding people altogether. You take red-eye flights to avoid crowds. You order food to your room instead of eating out. You build walls around yourself because it's the only way to stay sane. And yet, despite all of that, the next morning, you wake up sore, pull on your boots, and do it all over again. Roddy Piper once said, "They don't pay you to retire. They pay you to keep going until you can't anymore." And he was right. Most wrestlers don't retire. They just keep wrestling in smaller and smaller venues until their body gives out. For every wrestler who transitions into movies or coaching, there are dozens who end up broke, forgotten, and in pain. Because wrestling doesn't have a safety net. If you don't plan for the future, you'll be left with nothing. With all the pain, suffering, and uncertainty, why do people still become wrestlers? Because for those few minutes in the ring when the crowd screams your name, when you hit that perfect move, when you hold up that championship, it all feels worth it. Wrestlers put their bodies, relationships, and lives on the line for the love of the business. So the next time you see a wrestler taking a brutal bump, wrestling in a half-empty gym, or fighting through injuries, just know they're doing it because they love it, even if it sucks. Hit like, subscribe, and don't forget, respect the wrestlers.